Welcome to Winning Fist Bumps. We give you the fist bump there. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brandon Lee. I get to be the solo host today as Daniel is wrapping up his wonderful safari in Africa and having a great trip with his family. But
Wow.
I get Ashish Tiwari to sit with me today. We're going to have a great conversation, and I love this topic for everybody. Is people are looking at LinkedIn, right? What I keep hearing having these conversations with people is that the with sales leaders, with sales producers, with C-suite is a lot of the motions that we've used all these years, the cold calling, the cold email, they're losing efficacy. They're not producing quite like they used to. And so bringing in these modern selling approaches is so important because it does for me it's modern selling isn't that we stop doing the calls and we stop doing the emails. It's that we use these other tools to supplement it. We do things like building our reputations, building our brands on LinkedIn, creating conversations with people, commenting, building rapport, getting to know people on LinkedIn so that when we do make the calls and we do send the emails, they're much more likely to accept it because they've seen us, they know us. One of my favorite things that I hear with people that are doing this well is when they reach out to people and they create a call that they often say, "Gosh, I feel like I already know you." Because of the work that you've been doing on LinkedIn, the effort that you do on LinkedIn. And so Ashish is going to join us because he's got a story about doing that with LinkedIn. And Ashish opened up a new market for his company inside Singapore. He's based in India, but he started leveraging LinkedIn to really get to know people in the Singapore market, to get the brand exposed into the Singapore market. And he's been very, very successful at it. So Ashish, with that introduction, welcome to Winning Fist Bumps.
I am super excited, Brandon. This is something that I wanted to do from a long time back, but good that we connected.
Yeah.
And I know what we're going to talk about, right? In future discussion, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, how the entire journey, came up and how it actually helped us. So I'll start with my introduction first. So everyone
Yeah.
listening and hearing this, I am Ashish today, talking with Brandon today, and I had business development and strategy for ProMX. ProMX is a global Microsoft Dynamics implementation partnered company. We are headquartered in Germany, Nuremberg, and also with that, we have been successfully growing from last 23 years. So we are a veteran in the business and pretty experienced and a lot of capabilities that we bring for our customers out there. In this, I would say I started with sales. I mean, I've been kicking in sales for little more than a decade now, and worked with a couple of companies. Started my journey when I graduated as an engineer, as an electronics engineer. I worked as a service technician with an ATM manufacturing company. Got my first job because of LinkedIn, by the way. So LinkedIn in my life plays a very, very important role. And after that, of course, I realized that I did not have the luxury to lead this relationship with the customer. And with this luxury, I was also not able to make a lot of money end of the day. And I was a pretty rookie, got into this corporate world, saw the other side of the table, and found it very fascinating. And that's how I started knowing and learning more about sales, learning and knowing more about business development. And of course, I had LinkedIn to help me with that. I got an opportunity to work with this IT company and work with a lot of markets. So I carry a valuable experience, I would say, working in APAC, US,
Mhm.
EMEA, a lot of different markets, I think. And that this blending that happened with me, talking and understanding my customers, made me feel confident that I am ready to venture into any new market that I've not experienced with. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
And
Ashish, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yes, and that's how the Singapore thing happened. So
Yeah. Yeah, so everybody listening, I want to welcome you again to the show, and welcome you to put in your comments and let us know who you are, where you're at in the world. As you see, Ashish is currently in India, and then he's spends several weeks a month in Singapore, opening up that audience. And it was important for me to bring Ashish on the show to be able to share what he's doing with LinkedIn in different parts of the world, because it's, LinkedIn has gone over 1 billion users. It's definitely this massive global tool. And as we believe that LinkedIn is the business platform for the 21st century, and if you're in business, which is all of us, you're working on your career, you're working on sales, you're leading a company. If you're not leveraging this platform, how can you be part of a business in the 21st century if you're not managing and using and leveraging the most influential business platform of the 21st century? So Ashish, you moved in. Thank you for your background, by the way, and you were moving into the Singapore market. And I know Pro MX they have offices as a Microsoft partner. They have offices in how many countries?
So we, like I said, we are headquartered in Germany, but we also have entities in US, UK, Canada, India, and the
Mhm.
Singapore is going to be the latest avenue that we are looking at for business. And
Okay.
this came up with support from Microsoft as well. So because of the boutique company, the niche offering that we have, Microsoft wanted us to go and penetrate into this market. That's how the inclination happened. And
Mhm.
LinkedIn, for me, I mean, I would say I've been a loyal customer on LinkedIn myself. I've been using this platform since 2011.
Mhm.
And this platform, I mean, helps me not only amplify my brand, but also sometimes carve out thought leadership, for example, and make meaningful connections. So
Yeah.
I remember I was watching your one of the episodes with Rob Fegan, and
Yeah.
yes, I follow Rob because he's somebody who also helps a lot of partners to get the right information to build relationship, build association with Microsoft in a much closer way than you desire. So I do follow a lot of his content, and I love that episode, by the way. So that
Yeah.
was completely relatable for me.
See, and
Uh,
that's
mhm.
yeah. Let me talk about that for a second, because Ashish, what I love about that is what you're sharing is you leverage LinkedIn to meet people. Rob's based in California, so you met somebody on LinkedIn, clear on the other side of the world from you, and you are learning from him because Rob specializes in helping Microsoft partners build better relationships with Microsoft team members to mutually grow both companies. And that is one of the huge powers of LinkedIn, that not only we get to meet them, we get to learn, but we get to engage with them. And that helps build our own reputation, our own brand, and it gets our business and ourselves exposed and introduced to new people. That is fantastic. I love that you shared that.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to add. So my first customer was from Michigan. I started. I was working for a Canadian bank, and then I started working for the U.S. market. Hugh Callan from Michigan was my first customer, and the good news is we are in touch on LinkedIn and also on WhatsApp. It's
Mhm.
been more than 10 years that we've done business, but we are still connected. So the friendship still lies, and because of the two people connected on LinkedIn, saw each other's work, saw what we relate to, and here we are. I mean, building relationships all over.
Yeah, so Ashish, I want to get into, as you moved into the Singapore market with Pro MX, what were some
Mhm.
of the challenges that you had in leading this new effort in a whole new country?
That's a very good question, in fact. So when we decided that we want to go with Singapore, we also, of course, did some research. We wanted to have a solid GTM plan before we penetrate into this market. And during my research, of course, I gathered a lot of information. And when I had to present this to my board, there were a lot of different aspects which came out, during the planning stage. And you know, right, Singapore economy is one of the most stable economies in the world, and with no foreign debt, high government revenue, consistent positive surplus. And we realized that if we want to get into this kind of market, we would need to create the right perception for the public out there.
Mm-hmm.
And because the kind of clients that we want to work with, we wanted to attract the right client base which completely aligns with our strategic plan.
Mm-hmm.
And this Singapore is basically results of uh, months of planning that got into it, and hard work, of course. And this strategy that we had, we looked at different elements into our GTM plan. We looked at how the market looks like, what are the competitors, we looked at the price variation that can come in the targeted industries, we looked at buying power of these people. And the most interesting thing, Brandon, that I liked and found is Singapore is 100% tech-driven business. Okay, it's a tech-driven economy, and the decision makers that I got in touch with through LinkedIn, and in fact later when I met them, I saw they want to, they're not just curious, but they actually are involved in how the tech world is evolving, right? And I met a lot of these CXOs and decision makers in my trip, and I realized that uh, this is exactly the targeted market that I wanted to work with. These are the prospects, these are the clients that I want to work with. And with this, of course, there were challenges attached. Having said that, this was not so
Mm-hmm.
easy, and we decided that how we do marketing in different developed countries, for example Europe and US, we've been pretty successful there. We, number one, we decided to revamp our marketing strategy when we get into this market, number one. Number two, we also looked at the price factor. Okay. And with this also, we thought of also considering some business partner, where like a P2P motion, where we can have a business partner with us who can also help us penetrate and get into this kind of market. The main challenge was market size and potential that I discovered. And
Mm-hmm.
there were certain customer segments and preferences that we came across. Of course, there were competitive advantage and differentiation coming in. There were a lot of legal and cultural factors coming in. And because of this, what we did is we spent many months in building this plan covering all of these aspects. Now the
Mm-hmm.
next step, when we had the plan ready and when I got it approved from my board, the next step was how do we reach out to these people. One, we can do it online, one, we can do it offline, of course. So before we actually landed there, we wanted to build connections, we wanted to speak to people who are
Mm-hmm.
actually in that market, who are working in that market. It could be partner, it could be end customer, it could be any decision maker, any company CXO that wants to talk to us. And I conducted an online webinar where we spoke about unlocking the AI potential for our offering for one of the business applications that we have called D365. And you won't believe, we did this marketing on LinkedIn, this online webinar. In 2 weeks, we have more than 100 registrations done in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
because this AI buzz sort of spread, got viral and spread like anything, I was already in touch with a lot of folks from Microsoft, a lot of CTOs, CIOs that I was chatting and having discussions with. So when I told them about this event that we are doing, they got much more excited and they wanted to experience what this webinar looks like. And when we were in Singapore, we did this. And during the discussion, obviously, a lot of people showed interest that they wanted to also meet us. So I would say this idea of doing an online webinar before even landing in that market, and then having people registered for this event and then meeting them eventually, was a game changer for us in less than 2 weeks time. So which gave us, I would say, a lot of push
Yeah.
to meet them and discuss more about how they do business, how do they look, I mean, how do they use AI, if not what are the different applications that they're using, and how can we come in as a preferred partner and support them with their requirements.
Yeah, and what I want to transition into as well. And before we go on, Malia Mumo is joining us from Germany. Malia, thank you so much for joining us today. I wonder if she's in Germany. I wonder if she's with Pro MX with you. But um,
No, I,
doing
I
the
don't
web,
I,
Yeah, I doing the webinars, and I mean, I love obviously, you did your go to market strategy work. You knew what you wanted to do. You went with the webinar. How did you leverage LinkedIn in building out those 100 plus attendees that came to that first webinar and building those relationships, especially because you were in India at the time and you were moving into this new market. So how did you use LinkedIn to help support that effort?
Yes, that's I think also a very interesting question. So I'm going to give you my secret sauce. What I did is I listed these 10 important steps that I should take and make myself visible and available to everyone out there on LinkedIn, right? So first thing that I did is I made myself findable. So I was able to draw traffic from outside LinkedIn. Number one. So I made myself available to everybody on LinkedIn, and from Google they can reach out to me. So I had these keywords entered in my profile in my bio.
Mhm.
Second, I always uh, I say this, you need to be sticky. So you need to stay on brand always. Whatever you promote, whatever you sell, whatever you talk about, you always need to stay on your brand. And of course, I mean, third one, which is very important, is to be consistent, right? And I'm sure you'll relate to this. So you need to post content on your page regularly. You need to decide your topic. You need to decide your story. You need to decide your content, your favorite topics that you want to share and talk about. Post your content regularly. I did this. I did all three of this. Next, I was very flashy. So be flashy. Make use of video and visual content. What I did is I made few videos. I made a lot of visual content. I made a lot of memes, which also have been. I mean, I've got an amazing response from all the audience out there, and I also published a lot of thought leadership, content. So I always was relevant to what I was delivering, what I was promising to deliver, right?
Mhm.
At the same time, you have to be engaging. So no matter what you post, if anybody is sharing their opinion or writing about it, or putting their thought about your content, you need to always respond to your comment, to the post comments, always. This also helps the the users who are consuming your content. They can relate to what you mean and what they mean, and then you can build a conversation. I mean, in fact, our this podcast today's podcast, in fact, started that way, right? One of the memes that you liked, you shared your opinion, and we had a quick chat, and that's how
Mhm.
the tables turned and we got into a discussion. So there have
Yep.
been incidents where many decision makers have reached out to me saying, hey, you know what, I saw your post about this. Would you mind giving 20 minutes of your time, and I want to discuss on something like this? Or can you share the source of this information? Or can you tell me more about it? Or can we discuss something like this with you? We are in a process of finalizing an application for our business and things like that. There have been n number of incidents that I can tell you in last 10 years. But I think since some time I have been posting a lot of new content, not the same old stuff, and that also is helping me grab a lot of attention, and I'm getting a very good traction on the posts that I do. You need to also adjust your content based on page analytics. uh, I mean, somebody who's very active on LinkedIn will relate to what I'm saying. You also need to enlist help, from your customers and brand advocates, for example. uh, Always engage with the right thought leaders in your updates. Get connected to the right set of people that you want to work with. Identify your audience, identify your market, also identify your content that you want to position and make people relatable. So yeah, I did all of this, and it was fantastic.
This is great. I love everything that you're doing. What I want to do is back up a little bit and break these down because I think there's a lot of people that are newer with LinkedIn that they hear things like, okay, I post regularly, which is scary for a lot of people, right? And then you talked about doing memes, and I want to jump into that for sure. And then you said comment on anything that if people comment on your post, be sure to go do it. You're saying all these great little nuggets for people. And then you also mentioned about go and engage with other people, engage with other thought leaders, and engage with other people's content. So for everybody listening, this isn't hard. It just takes strategy and then consistency, which Ashish you've said over and over again. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit,
Mhm.
because I think most people, they hear I'm supposed to post and go, yeah, yeah, I know, but I don't know what to post. But we're going to get there. What do you do? What you said, be sure to go and engage with other people in the space. Go engage with other people. What does that look like for you? How do you do that on a regular basis?
Okay, so this is I know the most difficult task, which even I've experienced, because people are busy in their day-to-day life, work, and they don't get the right time. You'll be surprised. I don't know how many people can relate to this. There is also an algorithm and also a time that is important when you post and push your content out there. It's not like you can just wake up one day and start posting, and you just follow the same routine, it's going to work for you. It's not like that. Algorithm is developed by LinkedIn. They have their own AI mechanism, which also helps to promote and push this on the feeds of people who are connected in your network. It could be first level network or second level network. uh, when I say engage, what I meant here is, one, of course, you have to be consistent, but second, when you are connected to the right audience that you want to share your content with. For example, I sell to all the enterprise customers, right, to all the enterprise companies out there, and I work with a lot of CXOs, CIOs, CTOs, CEOs, CEOs, CBOs, all types of CXOs. And what I understand, these as stakeholders, as decision makers, they are more interested in content which is very crisp, very informative, and which has some stats around, right? And maybe they don't have time to read the whole theory that I write, but they can be quickly hooked to my content if it has a meme, for example, or if it has a small video, for example.
Mhm.
Because memes, in fact, this is very interesting. It somehow blew my mind, and I could see the result of a meme on today's business culture, has completely changed over the couple of years, right? And with the kind of visual content, memes, videos, and a lot of stats and documents that you want to share in combination, what you're doing is you're making available information in various different forms which people can consume. If somebody can consume theory, somebody can consume video, somebody can consume whatever, and people can look at these content. They don't have to sit and focus on your content. They can look at your content while they are traveling back home, they are in train, or they are sitting somewhere for lunch and dinner. They can just scroll and look at your video, look at your content, and laugh and share with their friends and families. This
Right.
has been very interesting, because you need to understand what these consumers want end of the day. So what I do is, for my personally, for myself, here I only focus more on brand visibility, and brand visibility will eventually help me gain the right audience who's going to be attracted to my content, who wants to talk to me more about it. And if you see, I also always mention in my most of my content, is that I am available to talk, I am available to have a one-on-one discussion, I'm available
Mhm.
to have for a beer or a coffee, I'm available all the time. So let us connect. This also helps you personalize your content, right? You
Mhm.
don't have to just copy paste and produce, or just forward somebody's content and say that, hey, you know what, this is my content. Don't do that. Be original, write your own content. Maybe you can curate information from different sources, make your own content and push it out there. So engagement, in one line, for me, is to engage with the right audience and make sure you give them the content that they want to consume, not what you want to share.
Yeah. And engagement for you means let me confirm this, because engagement for me means we go into other people's posts and we comment, and we're strategic about it. So we go comment on people that are influential in a space. Like for me, it's let's go see who is creating content regularly. Maybe we call them an influential person, a thought leader, but they're
Yeah.
creating content consistently, and we know that our target audience, or the people who we want to meet, are most likely looking at that content. So we go to their post and we comment and engage with them, because we know all the, like, people like to call it the lurkers or the viewers, all the people that are watching, they may not comment, they may not even like, but
Yeah.
but people from the industry are watching. And when we comment and we're engaging in that conversation, they then start to see us also. I like looking at LinkedIn like a 24/7, 365 day a year conference where everybody in our industry is there because it's the conference to be at. And just like at a conference, you're walking down an aisle, you see people's name tags and where they're from and the company they're with, and you can stop and say hi. You can go to breakout sessions where somebody's on stage speaking, and you can be in the audience and you can raise your hand and ask questions, and other people in the room look at you and listen to your question. And they have the opportunity to come to you and say, hey, that was an interesting question. Let me ask you a question. And it also gives us the ability in LinkedIn then to send connection requests to all those other people around us who are more likely to accept it because we have now demonstrated through comments that we know our industry, we know our topic, we're engaging, we're sharing thought leadership, and it increases the likelihood that they'll accept our connection request. That's what I heard you say. I know, and we've talked before, I know that that's what you do. Is there anything else you'd want to add to that, though, Ashish, with what you do and how you do it?
Yes, in addition to what you said, of course, that's 100% right way to do it, of course. And in addition, what I would also want to add here is, let's say you go and comment on somebody's post who is an influencer, for example, or somebody who's a thought leader, let's say. The moment you like or post, or comment, or you want to reshare their content, at the same
Mm,
time, what I also do is I also send them a request at the same time and try to message them saying, hey, you know what, I saw your content and I found it interesting. This is my opinion. If you want to share more about it, if you want to talk more about it. And 80% have been successful. If I do this for 10 people, 7 or 8 people respond or at least accept my request. So
yeah.
in this way, I am also building connections, and I am also, like you said, I am also putting some comment out there which many people are seeing. And I have seen my profile view on a weekly basis is more than 400, because of the visibility that they can feel. Okay, this
Yeah.
guy posted there, this guy is posting here, this guy is commenting on this person's post. And usually I post on, uh, there are a lot of people who also make sales as a very underrated profession. There are some people who write about it, there are some people who talk about technology, for example, there are people who talk about profession, for example, there are people who talk about businesses specifically. So I do not restrict myself in only commenting on businesses or on profession. I keep myself open, there's no boundary as such. And I try to comment on every post that I can relate or I have an opinion to share. So it's like being flashy, like I said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I like when you say being sticky, and maybe for me that's not flashy as much as is just being seen in the right conversations that are taking place, is what it sounds like you're doing for me. I want to talk about memes because I know, and that was the way that you and I met online.
Connected.
I saw one of your memes, it made me laugh, I commented on it, you commented back. And I don't remember which one of us sent the connection request, but then we connected and we started chatting. And it all started with a meme. And I believe what I've seen, and there's been a shift, like this post-COVID world, there's been a shift. Some people want to say it in a negative way that, oh,
Mhm.
LinkedIn's starting to become like Facebook. And I totally
Ah,
disagree with that. I don't think LinkedIn's becoming like Facebook. What I believe is that business has never been 100% business. Right? When we take clients out for a beer, as you referenced earlier, or we go out to dinner and lunch, we talk about a lot of personal stuff, right? It doesn't mean personal like Facebook personal, but we talk about, tell me about your family, uh,
yeah.
you know, tell me about your trip coming to where we are, or anything like that. Um, a few weeks ago when we were messaging you, you were gone on vacation. Where did you go? What did you do? Oh, you like skiing, or whatever it may be. We talk about personal stuff because that's the way we get to know people. We get to build that know, like, and trust. And one of your strategies is using memes, using humor, using entertainment to open up and create those conversations. That's what I see you doing, and I love it. Tell me about your memes and why you started with memes, and then how has that worked for you? How has memes as a strategy in LinkedIn really played out for you?
Yes. Now, this is my favorite and interesting topic that I want to talk about. So, memes, yes. Memes, yes. Memes, according to me, they can be in many forms. Okay, they can be including ideas, behaviors, customs, and symbols. And memes spread, I think, very fast. You can make a meme viral in like seconds, and it could be through language, it could be through art, it could be through music, other forms of communication. And I think memes, in some way, they also influence the way people think and behave, according to
Hmm.
me. And meme marketing, I would say, has emerged as a powerful tool for a lot of brands, actually, to build brand awareness, to foster engagement, for example. And
Yeah.
this actually helps you to create a genuine connection with your targeted audience. And by leveraging the viral nature and relatability of memes that people can relate, brands can effectively communicate their message in a very entertaining and shareable format, which I feel. I
Hmm.
mean, you can share memes with your friends, families, wives, exes, customers, business partners, anybody. You can share memes, and there are 100% chances that they will respond either with an emoji or with a response again in a meme, or to something they will respond, and it helps you build connections.
Yeah.
And trust me, myself, I've been using this, and by using humor and a lot of relatable content, companies can actually create a bond with their customers, and this leads to an increased engagement and a lot of positive word of mouth that happens. So
Yeah.
memes let you achieve 10 times of effectiveness compared to a regular marketing visual, is what I feel. And I've seen a lot of organic interaction rate that has like showed it up. You see, many a times I share memes with my friends on Instagram, and I could see, I mean, the bond that I'm making with my friend who I've not spoken in a month's time. But every day or the other day, we share funny memes, we share relatable memes, and we talk about it. When we call each other or meet each other, we also talk about the memes that we had shared. So, and this is between the family also, between my customers also, that I share memes, that I post memes. So for me, I think it is one of the most loveliest tool that one can use and people can relate. No offense. It has to be humorous, it has to be relatable, and lets you build bond with your customers or partners that you want to work with or share your stuff.
I love it. And I would add to that that what I've done is use dad jokes instead of
Yeah,
memes. But it's the same concept, right? It's entertaining, it's adding a little humor. It resonates with who I am. We have 5 kids. People tend to remember, oh, that crazy guy with 5 kids. And then I support that through the use of dad jokes. And I usually publish them on like Friday afternoons. So it's not
I
like,
know.
as we're winding down the week and, getting ready for the weekend, I usually add a message in there about, hey, whether we had a hard week or a good week, we're going into the weekend, and I'll have a dad joke. And sometimes I'll relate it back to something in business. Sometimes I won't. It's just more of being entertaining and funny and sharing it. But as you said, it's memorable. I think you said something like it could build 10 times better, that connection and that brand awareness, because people remember it. And I get inbound connection requests from people saying, "Oh, I love the dad jokes." Or I get people who I don't personally know, but we're connected on LinkedIn, and they'll send me a dad joke. They're like, "Oh, I heard this one the other day and I thought of you." And they share it with me, and it opens the door for future conversations, right? It builds that relationship and it builds that network. And I just want to affirm you and encourage you, because that's the way we met, and that's the way we built our relationship. We got to know each other, again, on the other sides of the globe. And yet it was the meme that got us connected. And from your brand perspective, your personal brand, and from Pro MX, I invited you to come be on the show
Yes.
because it all started with a meme. And this is good for you, it's good for Pro MX, you're getting additional exposure, you're talking in front of a new audience who may not have known you. And I've got a decent network in the Microsoft community as well. And so now your brand, your Pro MX brand, is getting in front of more people. And what generally happens is after the show, you're going to get connection requests from new people that you didn't know. And the reason I summarize that for everybody is what Ashish is doing, what his strategy is, and he focused it on the Singapore market, but it was all networking. It wasn't using LinkedIn to pitch slap. It wasn't using LinkedIn as a channel to, blast cold messages. He was using it to build relationship, to build rapport, to build a reputation so that when you webinars, I think your dog approves of what you're saying. When you launched out your webinar and you were going flying in market into Singapore, you had a bunch of relationships. You had a personal awareness. People knew who you were and they were ready to talk to you because they felt like they knew you. Is that pretty fair way to summarize it?
100%, 100%. And I think this, I mean, the entire activity that we did for a couple of months in terms of planning, putting all the hard work, all the blood, sweat that we put to expand and penetrate into this market, Brandon, I'm going to be very honest with you. LinkedIn was one tool which helped me connect to everybody that I might have not found on internet or any other platform. And the information, the message that I sent them to connect was not a chat gpt message or some automated messages. It was 100% natural and organic,
Mm-hmm.
by letting them know that, hey, I'm going to be there with my global CEO Peter Linke, and we're going to be there. We want to talk to you. We don't want to do a sales pitch, no nonsense talk. It's just going to be a quick chat, from decision maker to a decision maker, to understand how we can support you to expand your business, how we can help you boost your productivity. And because we have this Microsoft partner tag, we are pretty known in the market, in the community. And this Asian market was something new that we wanted to experience and also let our customers experience. So the legacy that we have built over the years at ProMX, as a European company, we wanted to bring that to the Asian market. And this whole thing, in the mix of being available on LinkedIn, pushing the right content, letting my audience know that yes, this guy talks about interesting stuff about business applications, AI, things like that. Puts memes, for example, puts visual contents. So sounds an interesting guy. Let's talk to him. Let's send him a request. Let's check his profile and make him curious and not add him. So I again check their profile, and if I found them interesting and relatable, I send them a request. So
Yeah.
that's how, I mean, the network is growing today.
That's a great way to summarize it. Well, Ashish, thank you so much for joining us on Winning Fist Bumps today. I'm really grateful. I know it's almost midnight for you, and you stayed up late to be with us. I really appreciate you doing that. Hey, if anybody is listening, they want to reach out. Obviously, they can see you tagged in below. But how would you ask people if they wanted to reach out to you? Where can they find you?
Of course, we always talked about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the best and easiest option to find me. And my name has a star at the end, at the start. So if you see Ashish Tiwari in a star, that's me with a yellow star. And I have this beard on my picture, profile picture. So don't get confused. It's me. It's not somebody else. It's my picture, and I would be happy to connect with everybody out there. Would love to share and discuss anything that you want to share with full enthusiasm. And thank you so much, Brandon, for having me.
Of course.
Enjoy the
Oh,
conversation.
I did as well. But well, before we wrap up, though, tell everybody a little bit about Pro MX and what you do and who are customers that you serve best.
Okay, perfect. So ProMX, again, not trying to boast around, but Pro MX is.
Boast away. Boast away.
So, like I said, ProMX is a global Microsoft Dynamics partnered company. We are headquartered in Germany, but available all out there. So, if you're in US, UK, Canada, India, you know whom to reach out. I handle the Asia APAC business. So, if you are in Asia, reach out to me on LinkedIn. And the people who need to reach out to us are the CXOs or the project centric businesses who are struggling or using already Microsoft applications, but they need help from somebody who knows it all, somebody who's experienced, somebody who understands business like you as a user. So reach out to us. We help customers implement, support, upgrade, migrate, end-to-end one-stop shop for Dynamics 365 applications. Power Platform, which is low code, no code, and artificial intelligence, of course, with a mix of Copilot, ChatGPT, OpenAI, all coming in together. So if you are somebody, if you are a CTO or a CIO, a decision maker in your company, and you are not able to have a good sleep because of the support that you don't get from your partners, and you need somebody who can give you that good night baby sleep, that's me. So reach out to me, and I'd love to chat and connect with you. I can send you my details. It's there on the LinkedIn, and I can drop my email ID. So happy to connect and talk and chat
I
anytime.
love it. I love it. Well, Ashish, thank you again. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed so much getting to know you and hearing your story and how you're leveraging LinkedIn. And I think it's just such a great example, too, is you're moving into a new market and you leverage LinkedIn. And it didn't mean you left all the other tools behind. You still used your
Oh,
webinar and used calls and emails, but that LinkedIn first to start building that reputation for yourself and for their brand. And that's why I really hope people that are listening to this, that you take away from it is, when we get that lens of using LinkedIn, like the way we behave in a conference, we're there to meet people, to start conversations and create the foundation for future opportunities. We don't go to the conference and try and close deals right then and there. And the reason we don't is because if we do, we come off aggressive like that, people back away from us and say, "What
yeah.
are you doing?" Right? So when we come at it LinkedIn with that lens, it opens up a lot of opportunities and builds network and creates a whole bunch of conversations. So thank you, everybody, for being with us today. Ashish, thank you again for staying up late for us. And everybody, we'll see you next week on Winning Fist Bumps.